Hi, Karate Illuminati. This is Noah, and today we're going to talk about improvised Kakiya arms, or arms that you can add to something like a heavy bag or a post to work different limb control and tuidi techniques in conjunction with your striking. So the first one we're going to take a look at is your resistance band. Obviously, this gives you something that's resistant as you're pulling, progressive resistance as well, so that the more you pull, the farther you pull, and the tighter it gets, the more resistance you get. But another benefit of this resistance band limb is that it doesn't rely on the bag's movement, because the bag is usually mounted up high or is very, very bottom heavy, whereas people have our center of gravity more in the middle. So in addition to not being able to bend like a person, it's not weighted and supported like a person. So we can't rely on it to, say, bend down when we apply an arm bar. But the resistance band gives us the movement that we need that doesn't rely on the bag so much. Using a belt, on the other hand, while it does have a similar effect to the resistance band of being able to be flexible, so we can work things like wrapping locks, like a shoulder lock might be, for example. This doesn't have the resistance of the resistance band. It only uses the resistance of the weight of your bag, which is still a good way to work your pull, but now you are reliant on how the bag moves. So if you have a bag that's suspended or on a base, you are going to be getting a different feel for moving weight than you would with a person. So it's a little bit off there. And because it doesn't stretch, you can apply certain locks, but you get less range of motion out of them than you would with a resistance band, because again, it only moves so far and it's attached to the bag, which can only move so far and in so many ways. So again, has some give to it. You can work some of your techniques that you would normally want to work on a person that require flexibility, right? But you are a little limited on working through range of motion with some of your tension techniques like arm bars, because they can only move so far, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Using a solid limb like a dowel rod or a broomstick has some other uses for it, because it is not stretchy or soft, so you don't get to work the joint locks that require bending so much, and you may be limited on some of your movement in controlling the limbs. But what this does give you is a great deal of structure to work with. So now you can work on things that require that type of sensitivity, and when you're applying locks, it has to affect the bag. So now you are really relying on being able to move the mass of the bag, whether it's suspended or on a base, with this lock. So if you're working a lock that should move the person, then you need to make it move the bag, which can be very difficult. But again, it's a different kind of resistance and a different kind of work than you get out of the resistance band or the belt. So while you may be limited on the types of locks you can use, you can still work a number of different limb control methods into joint locks, which you can use to manipulate the bag, similar to how you would manipulate a person. Again, it doesn't move like a person, and this doesn't have joints, so it doesn't move like a person either. But all three of these limb options give you some different things to play with, and they all have a different feel to them when you're working your techniques. So I highly recommend that you mix the three of them in your training, and you can actually get into combining what you have attached to the bag, if you've got enough room on your bag,